I'm just gonna put her down at C tier. Actually, I'm gonna put her at D tier out of pure hatred. I'm over here. I think my whole game crashed. My whole game crashed because of the nuke. I'm out. Whole game crashed. Yep, 100%. You gotta be kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna do a tier list today. We're gonna break down all of these super people classes, all 14 of them that are currently in the game, why they're awesome, why they suck, and we're gonna jump right into it right now, starting with the new class, the Demolisher, which we honestly do not know how it's gonna play out. We did get a peek in the final beta. The RC car that drives up to people and explodes does like 80 damage, which is cool. The biggest thing is the rocket launcher. As you can see, you can shoot it while you're shooting at somebody, and you shoot up to 5 rockets. But the big thing is it slows people. That's kind of the biggest thing. So if you hit a rocket near them, it's the equivalent of hitting someone with an arc star in Apex. They're slowed, they can't move, you gun them down. You also don't take damage from your own explosions, which is like really, really cool. But like high key, I don't think this is going to be an S tier pick. I think a lot of people are going to play Demolisher 100%, but I really don't think he's going to be better than Nuclear, in my opinion. I feel like Nuclear is just on a different level than him. So that's number one. That's the newest one. We haven't even seen him like played yet. This video is going to be coming out like right around the time that Super People comes out. So we'll see if that changes. Next up, we got Gatling Gunner. Arguably the best 1v1 character in the entire game because of his kit. When you roll, you gain health, which is absolutely insane. Take 15% less damage from the front. You also have homing, aka, well, smart bullet, which is essentially aim assist. And when you take damage, you do 20% more damage. So you take 15% less damage and you'll do 20% more. So that's a 35% advantage you have on an enemy you're shooting at in a 1v1, and you have aim assist. You also have a Gatling gun that got buffed like crazy in the final beta that you can just spam whenever, and your magazine capacity is absolutely insane. Not to mention when you do the roll slide, it's very fantastic for rotations. You're hard to hit, you gain a lot of HP, and you have passive movement. 100% one of the best characters in the game. Definitely like top 5 for solo play. Really, really good for duo play. I will say for squad play, he's insane, but he might be picked by someone else that has better utility in a team setting. Still an insane character, definitely better than Demolisher. And then we're going to move on to Shotgun Master, one of the best characters in the game by far. We saw a lot of this in the tournament. We actually won $20,000, me and Viking, and he was running Shotgun Master, I was running Seeker. Biggest thing is the jump, especially in a tournament setting or competitive, being able to get out of a bad situation, always maintaining high ground, and also being able to dodge nukes is insane. On top of that, Shotgun Master is one of the tankiest characters in the game, getting 15 HP, receiving less damage, typically from ARs, which M4 was the most popular weapon in the actual beta. I will say, having like 3 shotgun abilities is kinda lame, but if you make it to endgame, you have an absurd amount of HP, you can jump super high so you always have high ground, and you have your flashbangs as well. His kit seems weak on paper, but in a solo setting, he's insane. Duos, he's insane. Squads, he's insane as well. We ran him in all the tournaments, and he did him insane. The question is he better than a Gatling Gunner? I'm gonna have to say yes, just because of the high ground. It's kind of a coin flip who wins this 1v1, but if there's high ground involved, Shotgun just takes it. Everybody's dead. To the next, we got Strike Force. Now, Strike Force, funny enough, he's kind of slept on. So for those of you who don't know, he has this ability where he charges up and he goes super far. You also can slide and go super duper far. I'll be posting a video on that, so stay tuned, or I'll be linking that video right now. And then he also has a shield to help him. Kind of an underwhelming kit, but if you play him correctly, he's insane. So one thing not a lot of people think about, right? Airwalk. So you take no fall damage, and you also have increased accuracy while jumping. Now, here's the thing people don't think about. Besides the fact that I can jump off of a cliff and take no damage, I can also drive a car. So one thing I was doing that almost no one ever does, still doesn't do to this date, was I was grabbing Jeeps or stealing a driver that I kill's vehicle, and I would drive right at people and jump out and shoot them. I have increased accuracy while jumping, and usually you'd have an SMG that has a bigger fire rate and better mag capacity. So if you run the PPSH, you can have an insane amount of rounds doing crazy damage while moving and jumping, you're impossible to hit, and you absolutely piss on people. You also have lacerating rounds, which applies a bleed to people, and you have your dash to get out of a bad situation. So although many people, I believe, would put him in A tier, if they're actually a good player, they'll put him in S. I will say, given the circumstances, probably not as effective as Gatling or Shotgun Master, but still an absolute demon. One thing I love about Super People is, in general, all characters can be played. You just have to be a little bit smarter and change your playstyle just a little bit. All right, moving on to number 5, the Sniper. Now, this is something that's very interesting. Sniper is very overpowered in many situations, but it's not my playstyle. Like, you can be extremely effective as a sniper and it not be your playstyle. So the biggest advantage with this guy is the 50% damage with sniper rifles. This is especially overpowered in solos because you can one-shot headshot literally anyone, so long as this ability is up. More notably than that, you also have an amplifier, which if anybody is walking around, you'll be able to see them. So solos is very excellent. You also have a bomb. So if you body shot someone, you could drop a bomb right on their head, and it has a 400-meter range. I will say, like, a ghillie suit and being able to move 30% faster while crouching and prone, very good. I like Sniper. I don't like playing Sniper though, because in order to be effective with this character, you want to be camping. You do not want to get caught out in the open. Stealth is your best friend. Although in solos, probably an S tier, you're not really going to be running this in squads, and duos, you're not really going to be running it as well. Like, as insane as Sniper is, it has no movement for escape. If you miss your sniper shot, you're just another character. You're not that tanky. And as cool as it is to rat in the shadows, kind of a mid character. Like, don't get me wrong, this could be an S character in the right hands in solos, but for duos, squads, trios, nah. I've killed so many snipers. Yes, snipers have griefed me, and they are super annoying, but if we're talking 1v1s or 1v2s, he's gonna get demolished by everyone here, probably including Demolisher as well. Although we don't know for certain how strong this character is gonna be. All right, next, Seeker. One of the most popular characters in the entire game. You have insane movement, you have hostiles detected that literally tells you when enemies are nearby, and you have a heartbeat that gives you wall hacks when you're close to them. By far, one of the best characters in the game. Had, I think, one of the highest picks for all the $20,000 tournament, and also I won a $20,000 tournament while playing him. So that's proof in the pudding right there. Like, hostile detected, solos, duos, and squads, so strong, so amazing. Being able to run up to a house and realize that nobody's there, or get a scan notifying you, hey, rat alert, and then you switch over to your heartbeat sensor to figure out where they are. Combine those two, increase damage and movement when you're on the storm edge. Also being able to scan where all the enemies are when you land for 5 minutes, and doing increased damage and taking more defense buffs when you're leaning, super insane. So he's very good at 1v1s. He's very good at outmaneuvering his opponents, and also awesome in squad play. I run a lot of solo squads, and being able to isolate each enemy using the heartbeat sensor, super strong. By far one of the best characters in the game. I will say, Shotgun Master versus Seeker, Shotgun Master might win a good amount of the time. I do believe Seeker and Shotgun Master are, like, definitely, it's kind of a coin flip as to who wins. It really just depends on your priority. Seeker can't get high ground, Shotgun Master can, but Seeker knows where everyone is. If they both have all their abilities, and Seeker plays it slow, he'll probably end up winning the fight using his heartbeat and pre-firing, etc. All right, Gas Soldier, gamers. One of the more interesting characters on the list. I have played Gas Soldier. I've dropped some pretty nutty games. His flamethrower is very good as well, but considering you need to drink gasoline and take a power bar to one-shot people, like, it's kind of expensive. Gas Soldier's a fantastic character, but, like, if you don't have your ultimate, you don't have a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, muzzle flash detected, kind of useless. He gets movement and smoke, but not that many people are really going to be using smokes. His smokes do poison people. His mollies will throw farther. I mean, he has chemical rounds are really cool. Like, they'll poison people slightly, but he's really kind of pretty mid overall. But considering the fact that he does get 2 gas tanks, and that essentially means he can one-shot 2 people through, like, just right through a house and a rock and just one-shot them right off the rip, pretty insane. As much as I'd love to put him in B tier because he doesn't really have any movement and he's not that good, I mean, he's still kind of insane. And when I run into him in solos or even squats, it's super annoying. You're like, oh, I'm chilling. Then you hear that horrid sound go off of the flamethrower coming. and it just one-shots you through like 27 different walls. And you're like, okay. Like, great. So definitely B tier if he didn't have his ultimate. His ultimate is super cheesy though. Like, so it has to be A tier. Moving on to Marine. Now this guy is an interesting one. One of the most interesting characters in the entire game. Not a lot of people know how to play him correctly, and part of me doesn't even want to expose why he's so good. He is one of the best characters in the game that is slept on like crazy, and I want to give you away the secrets. You'll have to stay tuned. Make sure you hit that sub button on YouTube if you're watching for some pretty insane Marine tactics that you've never heard of. But basically, he has a fog of war that stays up for 20 seconds on a 90-second cooldown. He can stay underwater and hold his breath way longer and swim way faster. So if there's a water map where the zone is pulling, Marine is an amazing pocket pick if you know how to use him correctly. You also can revive your teammates faster in squads and duos, and you get health back. I've done some very insane clutches using my smoke to revive teammates. So in squads, Marine 100% S, one of the most important out of the 4 that you need. You also do an absurd amount of damage because you have a buff with a silencer. So if you put a silencer, that's 20%. And your special weapon's 30%, you can do 50% more damage. If you shoot up a hill, it's another 30% more damage. It's 80% damage increase. And you also get more damage when you pop out of a fog. So if you fog and you're fighting up a hill, you do 90% more damage to the enemy. His C4 is also super strong because you can throw it into most buildings and figure out where enemies are. I'll break down a video on how OP this is later on. So like I said, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Definitely S tier, 100%. Now, where is he on the S tier list? Depends on the game mode. Marine is by far one of the most essential characters in squads for like the revive potential, the cover, the resets, the damage, all that. So where he lies on this list is kind of up to you. Like, feel free to comment down below where you think Marine belongs. I will say, like, 1v1 wise, he'll probably lose to most of these guys if he's out in the open. If he has the smoke and stuff, he's got a good chance of taking him. But the main reason he's an S is he's just so freaking useful, especially on a water map. Then he's an SS plus, like S+++. Some people probably think he's more in the A tier, but having played him and almost won like 40 grand in tournaments with him, definitely insane. Just depends on the situation. Seeker, Gatling, Shotgun get all the attention, and these guys get slept on like crazy. But they're really, really insane, especially if you're smart. All right, Teleporter. Right off the rip, he was super overpowered, and almost everyone played him in like the close and the final beta. But like, I don't know. It depends on the situation. I have mixed feelings about Teleporter. So, Teleporter is really good in squad play and duo and solo. In solo, he is less effective because you teleport away from the enemy into a new enemy. In squads and duos, your teammate can hold a position and you can teleport behind, right? You can like shoot them in the back. So in a squad environment, it's definitely a little bit better, but in a solo environment, not as good. I will say single shot, the one shot, one kill, absolutely insane, especially if you get on a mini and your skill's a mini. You can just do so much damage. And you also take less damage when you're scoped in. So if you like ADS with like a DMR, you'll win most of your fights. And you also have faster healing, like with your bars and stuff, faster movement. You also probably won't get one shot as often because you got the headshot damage reduction. But he did get nerfed in the tournament because somebody was camping in the storm for like 6 zones, 0 kills and 0 damage, and actually won one of the first $20,000 tournaments. So he did get nerfed. Like, he's still a very solid character, but given the fact that he's kind of only like used for his ultimate, as a basic character, he doesn't really have movement. His hatchet's pretty useless. Kind of a mid character. Like, he's really strong in OP in certain situations. Like, if he gets a DMR and he has his teleporter, he'll probably win the fight. But he's not that good in solos when compared to squads. And then duos, he is really good. I mean, you're still better off picking like one of these 3 guys over teleporter. Again, if you're really good, you can do a lot of damage with him. I wouldn't say he's B tier. Like, I've soloed squads and like 1v4'd people, but probably more like an A tier. Definitely a little bit better than Gas Soldier. I don't know if he's better than Sniper, just because Sniper's going to hit more one-shots. But then again, you're not really going to use Sniper unless you're soloing. Like, no one really uses him in squad play. And then Demolisher, yeah, we'll put Teleporter right above Demolisher. All right, moving on to SWAT. This is one of the more interesting characters. It's very hard to say where he belongs. A lot of the characters on this list are extremely situational, but that is why they get a lower list. So Blackout is super strong now. In squad play, your teammates can actually see through it. Solo character, he is good. He will basically never lose a fight in a building, considering he takes way less damage in a building. He gets buffs when he kicks down doors, when he does parkour, when he's on stairs. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, everything is built on building. So in a situation where you know endgame is going to pull to a major city, honestly, not a bad idea to pick SWAT. But keep in mind, kind of bad in solos. Like, you'll win the 1v1, but you don't really have any movement. You have no information, and you're probably going to get clapped after the 1v1. So, like, when there's other characters like this, for solos, you don't really want to play them. I will say in squads, very, very good. Duos, kind of mid. Like when you look at like duo loadouts, you'd probably pick like 2 of these top 5 guys. You wouldn't really pick a SWAT. So for that reason, I put him in B tier. He is definitely an A tier in squads, or sometimes even an S tier depending on the map. But given the fact that he has almost no team utility besides the ultimate, and the ultimate's on a relatively long cooldown, he's only really good in buildings. He sucks out in the open, and if he uses his ultimate, you're just dead. He has no movement. So definitely a B tier character. Can be A tier, sometimes S tier if you're in a squad environment and it's all buildings at the end. Firearms expert. All right, so the patch notes actually came out while I was making this video, so let's see if anything really changes. Let's talk about Shotgun Master because he's already on our list. So his HP is going to get decreased, so he'll be less tanky. Jump landing health will go from 30 to 20. Super jump cooldown's been increased. Those are all nerfs, but he still stays where he is. He's still insane. I mean, you lose out on like 10, 15 HP. But in most cases, if you lose a fight by 10 HP, you're probably going to lose it anyway.
There were a lot of minor balance changes across the board, adjusting movement and ability cooldowns by a few percentages for most characters. Most characters also got slightly buffed in one region and then nerfed in another. If you want, you can pause the screen and read the patch notes as they show up on screen, but I'm only going to be covering the most significant ones because this video was already super long. By far, the most significant changes happened to the firearms expert and then the driver class.
SWAT, let's see. Movement has been increased. That's good. So SWAT's going to be faster now. You can have more grenades now, which is good. Blackout has been reduced. So like you will cast it a little bit faster and the cooldown's a little better. So definitely an improvement, but my opinion still stands. He's still like he could be on the edge of A tier, but A tier or S tier really just depends on the map, and it also depends on if he's in a squad. Firearms expert. Let's see.
Before reading the patch notes, we placed Firearms Expert as a B tier character right in front of SWAT. Don't worry, I'll give you specific reasons why later on in the video, so keep watching.
Mix and match damage has been increased, so 30%, so that's pretty OP. An extra 10% damage. Allies are no longer affected by force field speed reduction effect, but instead gain a defense bonus. Enemies are still slowed though. That's pretty huge. That is a very big difference. Enemies will be slowed 10% more, and allies will not be slowed at all. That is huge. Firearm expert is gonna have to move up to A. I did originally put him down in B because slowing everyone, including yourself, is kind of an L. Like, he has one of the best 1v1 kits ever. You know, you get 30% damage if you run 2 ARs. You can have AR up combined with the special weapon. Leaning does more damage. You take less damage. You have bigger magazine size. He's an absolute legend. Like, I will say, he's borderline S tier. The problem is he has 0 movement. If he is caught out in the open, even if he pops his ultimate, he will probably die. He's definitely a lot better now, especially in duos and squads. Way better. Still, if he's out in the open, he's dead. He has no movement for rotations. He's dead. Tournament, he's still kind of mid. So, A tier. That is a huge update, but still kind of mid. All right, now let's talk about Nuclear. Nuclear. Absolutely ruined the tournament, in my opinion. Cost a lot of other people a ton of money. I died more than 5 times to nuke. 1 nuke crashed my game. Nukes are so stupid in competitive play. In, like, pubs, not a big deal. Doesn't really matter that much. But in competitive play, should always be banned. Such a dumb character. Let's see. RPG cooldown has been increased. The minimum damage has been increased, but the maximum has been decreased. So RPG will be on a longer cooldown. You will do more minimum damage and less maximum. I'm okay with that. Tactical nuke cooldown has been reduced. Oh, great. So now you get your nuke 20 seconds faster, and it will do way more damage if you're on the edge of it. But now If you are a class that has HP, you have more than 150 HP, you can tank it. Still an L character though. Still an L character. In a tournament setting, super OP. Basically S tier for griefing everyone's game. But then again, I never played it because she doesn't really have that many great abilities. So in a squad format, she's good. In solos, nuke is ass. In duos, nuke is optional. And then squads, nuke is pretty good, but still kind of mid. I'd put her at A, because her nuke has cost me so much money. This character is like one of the most skill-less, annoying characters in the entire game. How many people can I blow up without having to aim at them much at all? Can be an S tier. Definitely costs the most money for most players in the tournament. A tier, maybe. I'm just gonna put her down at C tier. Actually, I'm gonna put her at D tier out of pure hatred. When there were 12 nukes in Endgame, and it was just nuke after nuke after nuke after nuke. This little Timmy jerking off in the corner, praying to God he blows someone up. Yeah, she belongs in the dungeon. D for dungeon. I hate nuclear so much. All right, Driver. Driver in the beta was by far the greatest solo character in the game. Period. Duos, pretty similar. Squads, not so much, but also kind of viable. You need her for rotation, like 100%, but at the same time, 4 people shooting a car, it's probably gonna blow up. So let's see where the patch put her. Can put your monster truck down in 90 seconds. That is insane, half the cooldown. The cooldown now starts when the vehicle is destroyed though, or a certain period of getting out of the truck. Beforehand, the cooldown would start while you were still driving it, which is kind of OP. This one, it has to blow up. So although they lowered the cooldown, it's still gonna play basically the same. And it now restores his fuel 100% when resummoned. Oh my. Honestly, not that big of a deal, but I will say there were some games where I did run out of fuel and I needed to find gas tanks. When it comes to Driver, still one of the best in solo play, being able to jump in the air with your car. There's also some more overpowered strategies that I will go over in the future. You have aim assist. You take way less damage while driving. You can run circles around people. It'd be hard not to put them in S tier. In duos, same thing. See, squads, Driver is way less effective because you'll just get 4-man pew-pewed now. Keep that in mind. But on the same time, if you're in a tournament or you really got to rotate, nothing beats that car. You might find they're annoying, very loud, definitely a lot of cheesy strategies enabled. But when all things were said and done, even with a couple of the nerfs in the final beta, still so strong, and nothing quite competes. And with that, we are now on our final one, Titan. Good old Titan. We saw a lot of Titans in the third-person solo tournament because everyone was running around with shields. But beyond that, Titan's very mid. Like, this character is super cool, but in a squad format, a lot of other characters do a lot better job. Like, yeah, you do get more HP when someone dies, but you don't want your teammates dead anyways. You can see the enemy of players when you see dead bodies, which is cool. That's basically the Ash ult from Apex, but really not that great. You also do a lot more damage when you set yourself on fire, but realistically, when are you ever gonna set yourself on fire? Your shotguns do more damage. Just very mid. Like, it's good for rotations, but nothing all that impressive. So they did buff the scan. So 300 meters is pretty nuts. That makes him much more scouty. That is good. That's a huge buff. HP has been increased up to 50, so he is now one of the tankiest characters in the game. That's very good. His cooldowns have been reduced ever so slightly. Barrier assault cooldown has also been reduced, and range has been slightly reduced. Pretty solid character overall, but at the same time, very mid. We're talking solo play. This whole top list is gonna duke you on him in a 1v1, because you can't shoot when you have your shield out. You're not gonna die, so it's good in some cases for like a third-person tournament, but the ult's pretty bad. And yeah, you can ram people, but not being able to shoot kind of sucks. So all these characters beat him in a 1v1. He's probably going to lose most 1v1s. Like, yeah, he's got pretty good movement for rotation, and he can set up his little wall. So in duos, you'd say, oh, maybe he's better, but I mean, all these characters provide better utility for their teammates than he does. So is he C tier? Like, as fun as Titan is, not being able to shoot while rotating kind of sucks. Because you'll get there alive, but you also won't get anybody dead. I think they're going to buff him again in the future because no one really plays Titan. But like, all these characters on top here just provide so much more utility and just bring so much more to the table than Titan. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is my tier list. Completely wrapped up. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys watched to the end. Comment down below what you would change about this.
I know this was a super long video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Be sure to click that video that's popping up on screen now. I'm sure you'll enjoy it even more.